I'm back, and this is the start of the vlog for good. And I've probably just jumped right off of the top of the screen. Right. Okay, I've not got much time to speak because my camera's running out of batteries. I haven't charged it in about 4 days. But I have a couple of bulletins. The first thing is to do with this nice little pile of pamphlets I have here. Flyers. I've been to the Fringe. For those of you who don't know what the Fringe is, it's an annual Edinburgh festival. I failed to say that in a couple of previous takes. Which, you know, it's lots of theatre show stuff. And I went there with my little cousin. And, you know, it was quite good. We saw 2 shows. We saw one sciencey thing with some guy called Marty Jobson or something like that. Marty Jobson, I think it is. It's quite entertaining. He threw smoke rings at us and blew some stuff up. And everyone went to see was pretty bloody brilliant. It was a Harry Potter thing. And, you know, it was them taking the mick out of the books. And it was the 7 Harry Potter books in 70 minutes. And I almost scored Quidditch. What I mean by I almost scored a Quidditch is they put a giant inflatable ball into the middle of the audience, and there were 2 hula hoops suspended in the air, and the idea was the crowd got to try to throw the ball in it, and then the ball was the quaffle and they were the hoops. And the ball went straight to me, grabbed it, threw it, it bounced off the ring. And it was quite good because the entire audience went silent as the ball was flying, and you could just hear them going, "No!" I was playing for Slytherin, but we won. We won in the end because we caught the snitch. And the snitch is 10 wins. Yeah, as I said, Slytherin caught the snitch, and it was quite funny the way they did it. They caught 2 young kids, about 2 or 3, out of the audience, and told them they were the seekers, and they gave them a little pointed hat, and then one of the 2 people presenting it went out and got dressed in a giant golden snitch costume. And the idea was that he was supposed to walk around very slowly, you know, chase me if you can, catch me if you can, dodged out of the way. And it was like, okay, we're going to get the snitch, 3 seconds head start, 3, 2, 1. Little 2-year-old, 3-year-old boy playing as the Slytherin seeker sprinted at him and rugby tackled a fully grown man to the ground, and you could just hear the audience in stitches as they went, "Oh wait, that's not supposed to happen." Essentially, it was supposed to be more like a game of tag, not a game of rugby. It was really bloody hilarious. The other thing I've done this week, I've got a bunch of other videos for, and I think I will edit them in now.
That one's mine.
Sure, it was a handhold there once, so I did this. Jumping off is the fun part. Hello internet again. First thing you may have noticed is that the background isn't the usual background of my study. Well, usual, I've only ever had 2 vlogs, but that's because I'm in a change of scenery. And the other thing you may notice, I'm not sure how it comes in the camera, is that I'm quite hot and sweaty right now, which, don't worry, is not something you'll see very often, because exercise isn't something I usually do, but today I've sort of been dragged out to do some. I'm at the Edinburgh International Climbing Arena, which at Rathos, and I'm here to do rock climbing on these. This is called the bouldering room, and the idea of these is they're rock walls. You know, they're the sort of walls you get at playground and stuff, you know, the big multicoloured handles. But the idea is I'm not supposed to use ropes or anything, and if I fall off, I just fall into the big squishy landing mats. It's quite fun. I'll try to get some shots of me doing it, but it's quite difficult seeing as I'm no one to hold the camera for me. All by myself. So alone. Forever alone. Mid-vlog update. Yeah, I've got a bunch of the climbing shots in now, and one thing I forgot to explain was while I was in Rathos and in the bouldering room doing my little mini vlog, is that while I was there, the reason we were there was not because my cousin wanted to do climbing, but because he wanted to do a thing called the Sky Ride. no, it used to be called Skyride. It's called the Aerial Assault Course, which is just nowhere near as exciting as a name. But the idea is it's a bunch of obstacles strung up in this thing. I got my dad to film it. I would show you the majority of it, but unfortunately there was another group doing it in front of me, and I asked the mother of the said group if I could put in a couple of shots because their kid was right in front of me, and she said no, which is completely understandable and all that. So unfortunately, the only clip I can put in of me on the Skyride is the one you've just seen of me pretending to be Superman strung up. I can't remember how many feet is above the ground. All I do know is that before I did it, I was quite nervous because the beginning of it is just a zip line to the obstacle course, which is suspended in the air, and the idea is you just throw yourself over the edge. And helpfully, as I'm sort of looking over the edge going, that's quite high, the guy who was strapping me up said, don't worry, if the rope snaps, you'll be going 99 miles per hour when you hit the ground, so you won't feel a thing. If I wasn't trying to make this a PG thing, I would insert a really rude word there to describe him. Anyway, so that's a clip of me on the Skyride. I think I've got more climbing clips to show now. No, well, there's one more. I think I've got one more climbing clip to show now. I really don't know how to start this. Down here! What? So, as I said, I don't have much battery power left on my camera. So that's going to be it for my vlog this week. But before I go off, I'm just going to mention that up till now, I've had 2 other vlogs, one on last Tuesday and one last Friday. From now on, I'm going to stick to doing one weekly vlog and editing anything I do that's interesting. I'll take my camera everywhere I go with me, and essentially I'll post that on the Friday of that week. So every Friday from now on, hopefully, unless I forget or I screw up or I feel like putting it in an earlier day because something else happens. That's all from me for tonight. Goodbye.